Fusion reaction in T minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion! You don't know the power.
The math is unfundable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get to the chopper!
Press go up.
Gigantic fusion reactor that just worked.
Multiple income streams and real yield. Cheats can no longer dump on your heads. The revolutionary decentralized finance protocol. Fusion reaction in T minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion! You don't know the power.
The math is unfundable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
The mothership.
And what's it gonna do?
Everybody excited?
Oh, hell yeah.
In my creation! Fusion.
Get ready to rumble.
Fusion.
Shout out to Cool Sheet. That song just hits.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and I'm happy to say my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA, is back to join us. LA, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm good. Happy to be back with all of you, and we're prepped and ready for a good night with all of you. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, 100%. So, LA was enjoying some family time, and over the weekend, I am officially a dad all over again. So, celebrating my third child. He came into the world super healthy, and we're back home and getting back onto the grind. I'll post a picture in our socials after the AMA. But thank you to all of you for all the congrats, all the DMs, and yeah, mom and baby are healthy, and we have a new little boy. So thank you to everybody, and we have a lot of updates today. So again, I was flying solo on Thursday. We went through it pretty fast, but tonight we're going to elaborate on a little bit more of what's been happening. I know a lot of you are really excited for the new EMP Fusion battery. We'll talk a little bit about that and just some overall updates. But before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, that really helps the algorithm and gets the word out to more and more people. So, all right, I think we're going to jump right in, LA. I know the number one topic today that we touched on a little bit towards the end of the AMA last week, but we just wanted to clear the air a little bit and really clarify the entire L1X L1DEX situation. So I'm going to just start off, and then LA, I'll throw it over to you if there's anything you want to add, and then we can elaborate. And if anybody has further questions, please feel free to type them in the live chat as well. But there's been a lot of questions about L1X and L1DEX. especially after their announcement last week about what is known as Zeus DEX. So we wanted to address this and also answer a few of their questions from their community. So overall, I mean, our position really hasn't changed within the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, as we really haven't received any more communication from L1X, everything that we've been asking for, additional code, audits, safety reports, literally all of that from L1X has not been delivered. And without those things, we are not only unable to move forward, but just from a pure safety standpoint, even if we were able to move forward with the code, until we have the proper audits, and again, do all the due diligence needed to make sure that when we do build, a multi-million-dollar DEX, that those funds are actually safe. That's just not a risk that we're willing to take. So, again, we have a lot of things, documentations, video calls, you name it, that really supports, what we've been asking for literally, again, almost, an entire year at this point. But, you see how much that we're able to accomplish as a team, in the same amount of time. And so, there is this narrative that it's our fault somehow, that we have been given the code, and that is just not the case. I mean, again, we could have started from day one, and built the whole thing ourselves had we had, the right code and the right time frame. So the fact that is still a thing is just ridiculous. And the thing is that we were meeting with L1X literally 2 to 3 times a week for over a year, and uh, we continue to accommodate every single request of theirs, even after goalposts were moved. I know we talked about again, even on these AMAs, about the different vesting schedules and things that were definitely different than what we signed up for, but we went with it for the greater good of the protocol. And unfortunately, that still never came to fruition. So time and time again, it was one thing after another, and we on our side were willing and able to adapt, but that was not reciprocated. So mainly, in the name of making sure things didn't get delayed any farther, and obviously we have a massive investment at stake within L1X. We also don't want to flood our own bags, but we're at the point now where all of this really needs to be addressed. So I have a few more points, but LA, anything you want to add to that so far?
Yeah, just to kind of expand on the goalposts thing, you guys see what's on the surface with the goalposts being moved on you, and that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. But I feel like in this situation, we have been the most accommodating people in the entire world because we were promised so many things and we continually asked to get it in writing so that we could assure that those things came to fruition. And it was always, oh yeah, our lawyers are on vacation, we'll get that done soon, or our our lawyers are tied up this week, we'll get it in writing soon. And sure enough, it never happened. It never got put down in writing. And then those things that we were promised, they would always get changed. But we would say, you know what, we've got to get this built. We raised this money. We've got to get this done for the community. So let's buck up. And for the greater good of everyone, let's be adaptable and let's come up with a solution. Let's just do it. So then we would get used to the new way that things were going to be, and we would get new promises made to us, and we would ask for those in writing. Same thing, excuse after excuse, and we would find a way to make this new way work, and we'd start working towards it for months, and we'd have 7-8 a.m. meetings every 2-3 days, even though we're not morning people at all. um, and then those would get changed, and things just kept getting changed and changed and changed, but we would continue to accommodate and accommodate and accommodate and bend and bend and bend and bend and bend. because we wanted to get this built. We wanted to get this built, and we've kept a smile on our face and a really great attitude and professionalism about it this entire time. And we very, very much so, did and do want this to happen, but it just, we have never gotten what we need in order to make this a safe and successful project.
Yeah, 100% LA. And again, I mean, if it ever comes to the point where we do need to release, documentation and videos and whatever is needed, I mean, obviously we're also looking at other ramifications. I mean, based on the initial private sale, we were written guaranteed to be the premier DEX. Obviously, that isn't the case now, and we're looking at all angles. Unfortunately, with crypto, it is still the wild, wild west. And, we're doing the best that we can because not only do we, like Ella said, want to buck up and just do it for the greater good of the community, but we also have a lot at stake. I mean, as a development, part of our development schedule, I mean, we dedicated about 2 years to this. And so obviously we want to do everything possible to bring L1X to life. But we're not going to do that, number one, with the current state of the chain in terms of security and not having all the code that we need to actually build a successful deck. So, when it's all said and done, it comes down to that alone. And we don't have the code that we need to build. We haven't had a chance to, confirm the findings. I mean, even the audits that they've shared, there's been massive holes in those audits. And we asked many times that that needs to be addressed, and it just falls on deaf ears. So, we're just not willing to take that sort of a risk. So, and again, we as a team, we do our own independent audits as well, but it boils down to, the actual infrastructure of a decentralized blockchain and whether or not that really is the case is still gonna, there's a lot of gray area there. So again, we're not in a position that we're gonna to build, even if we had everything we needed, which we don't, that we feel it would be 100% safe. So, and honestly, we have a reputation to uphold. I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit later too, but we have never had an exploit in any of the things that we build, and even some of the more shiny objects in DeFi right now, literally every single one of them gets exploited. And it's like, it blows my mind because people, get so hyped about APR, but when you literally get stolen from or lose your money through a hack, the APR doesn't matter. And so we're really trying to make people realize that our track record is what really matters because everything that we build is going to be 100% safe, and no amount of money or pressure will allow us to compromise on that. So, and honestly, we don't believe that anyone in their right mind would be building a DEX on L1X in the current conditions. And this Zeus DEX looks suspiciously similar to the L1X app. So again, it's my personal opinion, but I think that either Kevin or some of the actual chain engineers built this and just put a new skin on it, which again is even more proof that unless we were Kevin or one of the original chain engineers, there's really nobody does know how to build on L1X, and that is a major problem when we're trying to promote the chain and get more adoption and get more volume and get more users. So it's just really, really, concerning and ultimately disappointing because, again, we want L1X and L1DEX to succeed. We just are not in a position to make that happen. So, again, LA, anything else you want
Yeah.
to add? I have a few more points, but yeah, go ahead.
It's also my opinion that Kevin built it because he just seemed to have very tight reins on the code, and I just don't believe that any other DEX has what they need in order to build this. And unfortunately, if that's the case, it's my opinion that it's going to be a failure because he doesn't know the first thing about DeFi. That's just the truth.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
and
Especially
that's
after
not to
all
FUD
the
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
That's not to FUD at all. That's just the truth. So, sorry, Kevin, if you're listening.
Yeah, no, 100% LA. I mean, we've had many conversations behind the scenes, and it's apparent that Kevin may be an amazing, builder and coder, but there's a lot more to crypto than, creating really good code. And even that is questionable. But, the fact that, you know, DeFi is a whole different animal, and there are many, many things that have to come into play when you are building a DEX: liquidity, partnerships, security, all of the above. And, we've spent 6 months trying to give our professional opinion, and that is why we were given the opportunity to build the premier DEX. And, it just keeps being overlooked and, again, falling on deaf ears. So, it may be a harsh opinion, but that is 100% our position and viewpoint at the moment. So, we wish that we had a lot more positive news with L1X, but as of right now, especially after all the hard work that we have put into it, um, you know, this time we just don't. And nobody is more disappointed in that than we are, because again, not only do we have substantial development time that we've paid for over the last 2 years, but we also have massive, massive investments as well. And again, although even if L1X disappears, it's not going to cripple, our protocols, but it definitely hurts uh, in terms of, trying to get everything together. So, all right, LA, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's it in a nutshell. We just wanted to be really clear. We've seen a lot of chatter in our groups asking a lot of questions. So we wanted to kind of address some of what was asked and make things clear where we're at. So hopefully that helps.
All right, perfect. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit more about EMP Fusion and what we have in the pipeline. LA, do you want to kick things off, and then I'll elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, so AJ and I will be getting together tomorrow and over the next couple days to finally have the docs for the new battery and all of the new upgrades finalized and finished, so we can be that much closer to releasing the new battery. We are in the final steps of the countdown to release. And we really strongly believe that this new battery will be a really, really positive impact on both the PEG and support eShare as well. And it was designed to really support both. So keep an eye out for news and announcements surrounding the release of that. And when we're ready, we will do a full walkthrough and explanation on that in the following AMA, whichever AMA comes directly after the release. Do you want to kind of expand on that at all?
Yeah, no, 100%. So, like I mentioned in the last AMA, the code is done, beta testers tested it, everything looks really, really good. Unfortunately, with my baby and all the timing behind the scenes, and making sure that we had the documents 100% ready to go, we're just unfortunately, a little bit behind the 8 ball here, but hopefully this week for sure. And like I did mention on the last AMA, the way this battery works, it's very, very important that people know how to use it properly, and the power that the battery has. So we don't just want to release it and say, all right, here it is, and then not have the proper explanation or documentation, because it's not if, it's when everybody uses this battery to its full potential, it will have a massive impact on not only PEG, but also the price of eShare, just like LA said. So, yeah, again, appreciate everybody's patience. I'll take full responsibility. We've been a little behind on the docs, but once that is ready, everything will roll out really smooth. So, yeah. Right, LA? Yeah, I don't know if you want to add, but.
Yes, and I just want to take a moment and say we do both really appreciate you guys kind of being patient and holding down the fort while we both took care of some really important family stuff. Um, I don't get to see my family very often, and obviously AJ's baby is quite an exciting thing,
For sure.
celebration. And so we do appreciate you guys being really supportive of that. But we are back in action and going to get things rolling. I know it feels weird when I'm not in the chats a huge amount for a few days in a row. It is a weird thing, but yeah. So I appreciate you guys supporting us and being a little bit patient surrounding the last few days and us having some important stuff going on with our families with that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it was on the back of a giant undertaking with the Honorverse Madness raise. I mean, again, LA and I and the rest of the team have just been really going at it nonstop. So, and again, we very rarely take extended breaks, but now we're feeling a lot better, and we're in a position to really capitalize on the momentum going into the end of the year. So, we'll do a full walkthrough and explanation on the battery whenever the docs are done. It'll be that following AMA, and yeah, we'll walk everybody through it. And really, I just want to touch a little more on the fundamentals. And Crypto Kings released an amazing video about 2 days ago that really gives all the fundamentals of EMP Fusion in about 6 minutes. So I would encourage everybody to look at that video. LA, I think you have the link if you want to post it in
I just
the live
did.
chat. Yeah. So yeah, and again, to recap, that is really all of the key points of why EMP Fusion is so different and why it's so bullish. Now, again, we all want to make money and get rich overnight, but that is not how EMP is set up. Fusion is about rewarding those that have a long-term vision and help, support us in our growth. And again, fundamentally, EMP Fusion could not be any more bullish. Every day more and more is being sacrificed into Fusion. Even now, we're getting closer and closer to that supply shock. And again, once that EMP is no longer available, that will really skyrocket the price. And so, the new battery will also contribute to that massively. And when I say supply shock, again, I think many people may not realize how powerful that is. So supply shock happens again based on economics. You have supply and demand, and hypothetically speaking, if there is a lot of demand and not a lot of supply, meaning you can't really buy a lot of EMP because at that point all the EMP is sacrificed or accounted for, that automatically makes the price go up because you're trying to buy a very scarce resource. So again, just for the same reason, those luxury cars that they only make 100 of those cars a year, they're worth hundreds and hundreds, if not millions of dollars. And that same thing applies. So, supply shock is imminent. Again, well over we haven't done the math lately, but well over 75% of the entire supply of EMP is already accounted for, and it's just going to take one little catalyst to really make that happen. And we're hoping that this new battery will be that exact thing. So while we're preparing to release the battery, again, just remember that the development doesn't stop. I mean, we're also working on the next few batteries after that. We're adding more cash out batteries. Again, we're moving through this development list that includes a lot of suggestions from all of you as well. So, Ella, you want anything to add to that?
Yeah. I don't think you guys realize how powerful this is. I think a lot of you do, obviously, but some of you still don't. and I know that because we get emails from people who definitely still don't get it. And I know that you heard us say this before we launched Fusion, that it wouldn't be an overnight thing back to peg and that it would take some time. But when we do get back to peg, and when we are able to really focus on supporting the price of eShare, and when we are able to really focus on activities that will help to raise the APRs, all of that will be so obvious and so clear why what we were saying was true. But faith is not believing something that is right there so crystal clear in front of you. Faith is believing something before you see evidence of it in front of you, right? And I know a lot of you obviously have faith in us, but for some of you, that patience has run thin. But supply shock is, I mean, it's going to be very evident for a lot of you. And every single day I look and I see the amount of EMP that is getting sacrificed into Fusion tick up and up and up. And there's going to be a point where that pot of water is boiling on the stove, and then all of a sudden that temperature just gets so high that the water spills over the sides and gets all over the stove. I know you've all had that when you're making pasta or something, right? Um, it's it's gonna happen. It's gonna reach that tipping point, and when it does, it's all gonna be so crystal clear why everything that we've said makes total sense. But until that, then it might not, right? And so it's the people that take action before everything is so crystal clear and making sense that are going to win the most, because those are the ones that get to take advantage of the biggest peg bonus and get EMP and eShare at the lowest prices. But if you don't, that's fine too. You can take advantage as everyone else is driving the price up, but then you're just, doing what everyone else is doing, so you just won't get as good of a deal. And that's okay too, whatever is best for you, right?
Yeah, no, 100% LA. And again, I mean, I know that looking at the chart, it's frustrating. Since we launched, the price has come down. But again, there are a lot of existential factors that are completely separate from Fusion itself. And I know that when we bring this up, it sounds like we may be trying to make excuses, but it's really not the case. And, the reason that is not the case is everything that we mentioned, the fundamentals. More and more EMP is being burned every day. The supply is getting lower and lower. Just look at the price of ETH. I mean, unfortunately, ETH has also gone down for the last 2 months, and the chart looks like crap. But that doesn't mean that the fundamentals are not there. I mean, there's more protocols being built on ETH than any other chain at this point, and so again, don't take the immediate to represent the overall, and that's just what we are trying to get at. And again, in the Crypto Kings video, he also explains this really well. Right now, a lot of the economic energy is going into making sure that we are able to scoop up a lot of this EMP. If people are going to sell at these levels, then we are going to buy at these levels. And that again puts EMP in the right hands, not only from a community standpoint, but also from a protocol standpoint. And once we are recovering peg, and then once we do get back to peg, again, not if, but when, then all that economic energy can be funneled into APR and reward. So just remember that. I mean, again, I know that the APR may not be the best. A lot of you are used to more, of a degenerate APR. I mean, even now, it's extremely healthy in terms of the traditional finance. And, again, we have never had an exploit. We are extremely safe. EMP is essentially, your home base, in crypto land, where, maybe you take some of your profits and use that to speculate, on the next meme or the next DeFi protocol. But building a home base and building a very strong position in Fusion will only benefit you in the long run. And again, just based on the math and the numbers, that is not my opinion. That is actually what we're seeing. And if EMP was inflationary, we didn't have any outside revenue streams, if nobody was really burning or sacrificing EMP at all anymore, then I would absolutely not be saying what I'm saying now, because that just isn't the case. So, and just a reminder too, I mean, there is a built-in mechanism with Fusion that makes the dips like this very attractive. So even now, EMP, the sack rate is almost at a 5x bonus when you're getting your sacrifice point. So remember, as the price goes down, the EMP that you do buy and sacrifice, you get an even bigger multiplier on that. So it's an added incentive for people to buy low and sacrifice and help overall. So uh,
And I
and
just want to
again,
add one
yeah, go
more
ahead, Ellie.
thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to add one more thing that, I know sometimes people don't quite understand why we spend part of our time building additional projects, like, for example, Honor versus Madness. But I want to remind you that we're working hard in the background to build these additional projects because we are establishing a foundation to bring in revenue for Fusion for years and years to come. We don't want Fusion to be a project that is just a flash in the pan or lasts for maybe a year. We want to establish such a rock solid foundation that Fusion is paying out for years. I know that my biggest motivation is that I've had conversations with some of my favorite people here who tell me that they plan to retire off of Fusion. And on the days when, we're a little overtired or don't feel like putting in that extra 10%, I do, because I think about those conversations, and these additional projects that we're launching, those are going to bring in the additional revenue that everyone is hoping to receive in their rewards. And they're very important pieces of the puzzle. And so, as much as you may not understand that for 2 weeks here or 3 weeks there, that we may be launching something else, and that may be the majority of what we're talking about in that small blimp of time, and that part of our time behind the scenes is dedicated to working on those projects. These are big pieces of the puzzle when it comes to Fusion and its future and present success.
Yeah, no doubt, LA. Really, really well said. And again, I encourage all of you, please, any other DeFi protocol that you're involved in, uh, ask them where are the revenue streams, and if they can't answer that, or they give you an answer that it's based on taxes or any sort of inflationary mechanism, that is a major, major red flag. And we've learned that over the last, almost 3 years now, even in our own DeFi journey, that, things that are inflationary without a specific goal in mind and plan, that can be very, very dangerous. And again, we go back to Spark. Spark technically is inflationary, but we have a plan to end that. And again, it's going to happen a lot sooner as well, than we may think. So again, we're working on the multi-chain DEX. Now that we again are pretty uncertain with L1DEX, we're forced to take matters into our own hands. And if we can make L1DEX work, we still will. But right now, we're really focused on putting all of our DEXs under one umbrella. And when that happens, again, we move away from all the inflation from any of our protocols, and that is the ultimate goal. So again, it may look a little bit, I don't even want to say rocky because I'm so bullish on everything, but even if you're a newcomer here, it may look a little uncertain, but I can assure you that by the end of the year and when we really see the bull run kick in, Ethereum starts looking good again. People are looking for, trusted protocols. I mean, EMP Fusion and all our entire franchise, we check all of the boxes that you would want to see in any project. A doxed founder, a massive team, no exploits, solid economics, an incredible community, fully transparent. AMA is, twice a week. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And we're not going anywhere. We're just going to continue to grind. And although it might take a little longer than all of us hope for, the end goal is still the same, no matter what. And we will absolutely get there. So. All right, I think that's it for Fusion. We have a few more updates with Defenders, Detonator Defenders, and LevelX, not to be confused with L1X. But LA, before we get into that, anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it on that.
All right, perfect. So there has been a couple of reports that rewards have been low on Defenders and Sentinels. All of our NFTs, even the Ethereum power-ups. But it's important to remember that the Defender rewards, and really all of the rewards for that matter, they have to come from somewhere. And in Detonator Defender's case, that is Detonator. And so, the current situation and the reality is that there still are more users claiming than compounding inside of Detonator. And as the pool balance goes down, obviously then rewards have to go down. And we're never going to mint, artificial rewards. The money is not going in our pockets. We've been super transparent with this from the very beginning. All the money raised for Defenders and Sentinels went into those contracts as well. Again, all verifiable on chain. So, those have been paying. That helped really prolong those contracts in the beginning. So, and unfortunately, again, if there's more claimers than compounders or new deposits, then rewards will only go down. So, again, that carries over to the NFT payouts as well. So, again, LA, you want to continue on there and then I'll wrap it up at
Yeah.
the end. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have Jake looking into it just in case there's anything going on behind the scenes, because I did have a couple users share very specific information about their particular holdings. So I do have him looking at it behind the scenes. He has been doing so since last week. I did share some additional information with him today that I received. So he is looking into it, but for the most part, everything that AJ just said is the case. Rewards are down because there's more claims than compounds happening inside Detonator. And the way that Detonator works is that as the pool balance goes down, it's designed to automatically protect itself by reducing the overall rewards that are going out per day, right? Do you want
For
to kind
sure.
of expand on that,
Yeah,
AJ, a little bit?
yeah, for sure. So I talked about this a little bit on the last AMA, so make sure that you go back there as well. But yeah, I mean, again, unfortunately, I think a lot of people were very, very misinformed, even though all of the documents, all of our AMAs for a year plus, we did everything we possibly could to explain how Detonator and all the DAAS contracts work. Um, they're not an annuity. They were not an a oh my God, I'm having a mind blank. What did I say? They weren't an annuity, and they're not a uh, 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 holy cow, I can't remember. LA, what was my saying? Uh, do you remember? I'm putting you on the spot too.
The word annuity stands out to me.
Yeah, totally. So,
They're a
yeah,
game. We've always said they're a game,
yeah,
and they're not an annuity.
yeah,
And
100%.
it's very much determined by user behavior, and the more claiming that happens, if it outweighs the compounding, the pool balance will go down. If the depositing and compounding outweighs the claiming, the pool balance will go up.
For sure. And again, I know a lot of people, were compounding all the way through. We gave a very specific strategy that was not financial advice, but a strategy that would protect the contract and the users of a 5-2 where you compound 5 days and claim 2 days. You could be a little more aggressive and do a 6-1, compounding 6 and claiming 1. And again, every single AMA, we made sure to stress that it is much, much more important to have your home position or a larger position in the farms. And if you went all in on Detonator or any of the DAAS contracts, then you are in a rough spot right now. But that is not the fault of the protocol or the code or any sort of misleading that people may or may not think happened. So, and again, I mean, I have no problem saying this because you can go on a year and a half of AMAs that we have said it every time. Again, it's not a bond, it wasn't an annuity, it was a game, and it still is. And we're looking at a lot of options. Again, I spoke about this on the last AMA as well. I know people are really looking forward to the V3 options. I mean, that is absolutely still a possibility, but we're also looking at some other options that we can, make good as best as we can on Detonator and all those contracts, and then maybe be able to move ahead without any, additional drama or negative feelings around those contracts. So we'll have a lot more info on that in the coming weeks, but we are working, again, at all aspects of making Fusion as powerful as it can be. And so, again, LA, that I don't want to, get too in the weeds, but is there anything else you
Hmm.
want me to clarify?
One thing I want to say is something that we had a conversation about a few weeks ago that we never brought up that I want to bring up. We were speaking about this one-on-one a few weeks ago, but Detonator and all of our DAAS contracts have been the longest running ROI contracts that I know of out there. And
For sure.
I, I don't understand why there are some people that are so passionately upset about their holdings when Detonator has outlasted Drip, it's outlasted Animal Farm, it's outlasted everything else that I know of. And you can still earn to this day inside of all of our DAAS contracts. They're still there, it's still around. There's some other ROI contracts that I invested in right when the projects launched from some of the most popular devs out
For
there,
sure.
and locked my funds for 17 days. By the time I claimed one time, funds are gone. Sorry. Project went from 100 million down to 17 million down to 200,000 in a matter of weeks. It's like, but those devs don't seem to get any hate at all. So I'm quite proud of how long, all of our protocols have been running and that all of our projects have lasted, and the fact that we have never abandoned anything and that we continue to strive every day to continue to build really excellent projects and do everything we can to continue them running successfully.
Yeah, I love it, LA, and it's so true. I mean, again, I don't have a problem saying this particular protocol by name because a lot of people know that I can count on one hand the amount of people I really just don't like in this world, and this guy is one of them, and that is the original creator of Bomb, which again was actually inspired. What inspired EMP? And again, we had a friendly rivalry in the beginning, but I learned a lot more about him, and although he's an outright scam, he definitely sets up contracts to where he can benefit the most. And we saw it even now with his new protocol called Mint Stake Share. It had a massive exploit a day ago, or depending on when you're listening to this AMA. But the point is that again, in terms of ROI contracts, and that's another thing. People say, well, why is it called an ROI contract if there's no ROI or whatever? But that is just a term. Again, ROI contracts are notoriously games that are based fully on inflation, and it's essentially a Ponzi. And we did everything that we could to make Detonator not a Ponzi. And again, that style of contract is a game. And, you know, with massive inflation, which again, there is no inflation in Detonator, it's just based on the pool balance and the LP. But a lot of these other ROI contracts, you know, we're talking 1% or 2% daily, which is just obviously unsustainable. And yet people still ape and end up losing their money because even at, you know, a 365% APR or, you know, even more than that, and when you're still talking 2, 3, 4% daily, again, another one, baked beans, I just saw that they released like an 8% daily. I mean, all of these are just absolutely insane. And that APR and that daily return doesn't matter at all when you literally end up losing all of your money, you know, throughout the life of the protocol. So just don't get caught up on that. Again, I know we all want to get rich quick, but life just typically doesn't work like that, and you really need to be prioritizing the protocols that have developers that care and that stick with it. And you know, we try to do our best to highlight other developers as well. I mean, again, we have some amazing relationships. You know, Monstro's Universe, they are really, really amazing devs that are here for the right reasons. You know, I could go on and on and on. Patrick or Peasant from Hire, Peasant for Hire from Block Central. I mean, there's a lot of really amazing devs that are out here trying to do the right thing. Danny D, all the guys. Again, I could go on and on. I don't want to forget anybody. But please support the devs that are here for the right reasons and are not just launching, you know, drip clones that are even more inflationary than the original protocol. It just blows my mind. So anyway, all right. So yeah, I think that really sums it up. You know, and LA, you're 100% right. I mean, out of all the ROI contracts, that never changed the game, you know, in terms of sustainability. And although a lot of people that did compound from the beginning, maybe only getting, you know, a couple of cents or a dollar, maybe, you know, a little bit more, a little bit less than the gas it requires to claim or compound, you can't argue with the fact that they're still paying every day. So, all right. Is that a good enough overview, LA? Anything we missed with the
Yeah.
NFTs? Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, perfect. So, all right. And then last but not least, before we get into questions, you want to go over LevelX really quick, LA? I know you've been speaking to Jake. So,
Yeah, Jake has been the last few days reviewing all the LevelX stuff again. I know he had to do a lot more verifying of our original spreadsheet from the form submissions and really lock down what was possible to credit everyone. And so I believe he is finalizing that over today and the next couple days. I know he has been working on that all day today. So that should be happening very shortly.
okay, amazing. So, again, I don't want to get too personal, but Jake was dealing with some real life issues as well. So, again, we really appreciate people's patience and we do our best to spread out. Again, that's another amazing part about our team now is that, uh, you know, when our Jake is maybe a little more tied up or LA and I are tied up, the other devs can still make progress without us. So, even though it might be a little bit delayed, we're never at a point where nothing is getting done. And that again is really, really cool in terms of our scalability. So, all right, awesome. Well, that really covered a lot of the main points. Do you want to jump
Hmm.
into some questions, LA?
Yeah,
All
yeah. Let's see what we got in the chat here, and then we'll hop over to Discord. AJ, Vino wants to know how many kids are you up to now?
right. Yeah, man, we have a whole crew now. This is my third, so boy, girl, boy, and yeah, this is I don't even know if I said his name. So his name is Gravy. So we have a Abel, a Birdie, and a
Mm.
Gravy. So yeah, and yeah, I don't know. We may be done now. I don't know if I have another one in me, but maybe. Who knows? Maybe one more. Yeah.
When Fusion IPA?
Yeah, I saw that from Cool Sheet. So yeah, We've actually been looking into that. Unfortunately, the distribution laws are a little strict. And actually, with me focusing full time on the crypto side now and having a big family, we're actually trying to get rid of the brewery. So if anybody wants to buy a brewery in South Florida, hit me up. I'll give you a good deal. So we're moving into another phase of life, and then I can be even more focused on the crypto side. But yeah, brewery for sale, and then we can have a bunch of EMP IPAs. But yeah, and we are again. If I can figure out how to ship it out, they're just really strict on if you're in Florida, we can do it, but anybody outside of Florida, and obviously our community is worldwide, so unfortunately the regulatory issues are what holds us back from an EMP IPA.
Okay, awesome. I feel like all the questions in Discord, we answered throughout the notes because I had read them earlier and weaved those into what we spoke about. So I
Perfect.
feel like we have addressed all of those questions already in what we've spoken about.
Okay, amazing. Then we were very efficient tonight, for sure. Again, I know we've been saying not only do we want to start on time, which again I was a little late today again, but we like to keep our AMAs about an hour now. I know a lot of you have been used to the 2 hour plus AMAs, but I think we covered a lot, and we have a lot of updates with Honor vs. Madness as well that we didn't even get into tonight. We have a big developer meeting, actually in about an hour. So we'll have more info this week, and we're actually putting together a weekly or bi-weekly AMA in the Honor Madness socials just about Honor Madness. So again, please make sure that you're joining those socials. Obviously, we'll give updates here on the overall franchise, but if you want to know a lot more in-depth info on Honor vs. Madness, please join those and keep an eye out for those AMAs.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure having you all here, and we always enjoy our time with you. And we will be back on Thursday with some more updates. I'm sure we'll have lots for you. And in the meantime, please keep your eyes out for the announcements in the pinned posts, and anything that is coming out in the meantime will be there for you.
Amazing. All right, it's great to have you back, LA. Again, appreciate everybody's patience. And we are now back on the grind. We have a lot of info coming. The new Fusion battery is #1 priority. And then we're preparing for TGE in October for Grim Gold, the Honor vs. Madness token. And obviously, all the upgrades and development in between as well. Still making major headway on the BNB DEX that will be the first iteration to our multi-chain DEX, all V3, and actually maybe even some V4 elements with that as well. So anyway, stay tuned. Much love to all of you. Again, thank you all for the well wishes and congrats. I will be spending time with my newborn and continuing to make EMP and our entire franchise the best that it can be. And oh, one last quick thing, we have some major updates with Dex Finance as well. So hopefully by the end of the week or early next week, we'll be able to really do a deep dive and give a lot more insight into the Dex vaults. There's some really incredible additions being made with their AI LM, the artificial intelligence liquidity management system that is so powerful. So keep an eye out for that, and just in time to roll that out when we're getting ready for more volume and the real bull run. So, all right, that's enough alpha for you right at the end. For those that stuck around, and yeah, much love to all of you. LA, thank you again, and yeah, any final words?
You got it. I think we're good.
All right, awesome. All right, good night, good day, everybody. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye bye.